Now we're going to talk about the coldest of all of our climate regions, the polar ice caps and ice sheets. In terms of climate characteristics, these are going to be found in our high latitudes, so our polar latitudes. So, of course, these are going to be places in which we're never going to have temperatures above freezing. These are going to be perpetual freezing, all months of the year below freezing. What's going on here is these are places dominated by cold, dry air masses. And so these cold, dry air masses form, in the case of Greenland and Antarctica, the two places where we find these ice caps and ice sheets, form over large land areas. And so Greenland, Antarctica, big, huge land masses. And so the air masses that form over them are obviously, because they form over land, going to be dry. But even further, these are places that are dominated by polar high pressure pretty much year round. Pretty much, in fact, all year round. So that polar high pressure, once again, high pressure we associate with extremely dry. In the case of the polar high pressure, extremely cold and dry air. And so when we think about the ice sheets, we think, well, wait a minute, that ice has to come from somewhere. So the minimal amounts of precipitation that do happen here, it accumulates slowly but surely over years and years and years. So that ice that you see there, keep in mind this is a very dry place, and so it's also cold. That snow, it's not going to quickly melt if at all. Another characteristic of these places, why it's so darn cold, is these also because of their color. Once again, to use the previous concept, they have high albedo, so high reflectivity. So it even adds more to the cold temperatures we should expect to find in Greenland and Antarctica, two places where the ice cap and ice sheet are most present. In terms of vegetation, there ain't none. It's permanent ice here. In terms of where we find it, it's kind of easy to find on a map, where essentially the aerial view where it's white, perpetually white. So Greenland, you could say some of these islands are kind of also dotted with ice caps and ice sheets, but here, Greenland, large landmass in which it's overwhelmingly an ice cap slash ice sheet. Here we look at the net radiation. Look at the net radiation. We're pretty much green a little bit here. We get a little bit of yellow here in Greenland in the summertime, and the same goes for the summertime in Antarctica. And so, in terms of net radiation, yeah, you do have a little bit of a warming period, but once again, never warm enough to get rid of the perpetual snow that you find in the case of Antarctica, and for the most part there in Greenland. Uh, and finally, a picture just to show the ice cap, ice sheet, the perpetual ice, and the lack of vegetation.